All right, hello folks. Today we're going to be working on the riding lawnmower, and we're going to be making it go faster because right now its current top speed in 6th gear at full throttle is about 4 miles an hour. We tested it out on with the little GPS speedometer. Why's that bird got to be so loud right now? But anyway, so we're hoping we can do a little bit better in terms of the top speed. If I can get like 15 miles an hour, well, that might be too fast. Because here's the thing, I still want the lower gears to be good for mowing, like particularly first gear. I needs to be able to go slow enough to where you can actually mow and go around in a tight area and not be like flying and bouncing all over the place and stuff. So it needs to be usable because it's still going to be used as a riding mower, but I want it to be able to go faster, have a faster top speed, so you can go between job sites a little quicker, you know. Dude, it's right there. It's right there. That is the offender. It sounds pretty. What are you doing? Well, you'll be serenaded throughout the rest of the video, most likely. All right, so here's the problem, right? It's hard. So I want to pulley swap it to achieve that higher speed, but I can't get to the transaxle very easily because it's covered in the back, it's covered on the sides, and this all thing is one piece. Well, this is one piece that you can take off, but it's all bolted all along the side. And it's kind of hard to see in there, but basically everything's enclosed. Even on the top, underneath the battery, it's just a solid plate that's all one piece. Like there's no access panel or anything, I don't think. So the only way to get to that is from underneath, to drop the transaxle out of it and probably take the wheels off, and then we can access that pulley. So unfortunately, the manufacturers made it rather difficult. Like I've seen some mowers with like a whole, like there's no back on it, so you can easily get at that stuff. But sadly, that's not the way this one is. So we're gonna have to jack it up here in the back and then drop out the axle. We'll be using a car jack here. Is this overkill? Yes. But it's okay. And yes, this is just the one I robbed out of my truck. Problem is the front axle articulates, so it's tilting one side up here. Like if you see, there's some articulation allowed in the front, which is actually good, but it'll make it more difficult to jack up. I need to be able to just get this jack stand under it. This thing goes tall. I mean, look at how short it is normally. It's like triple that. Okay, now we're maxed out. Okay, so we get that right there. And now we'll ease up on this one a little bit. So it levels out. Okay. That's fairly stable, actually. Sorry, I wasn't even aimed very good. All right, so now I guess we can take the wheels off. Wheels and tires. Looks like there's just like a C clip on there type thing. I think, oh, these shafts are rusty. I hope this comes off. These wheels might not want to come off. We might be able to do it without taking the wheels off. Ooh. Definitely is an open diff. When one tire spins one way, the other one spins the other way. But that's how all lawnmowers are pretty much. So I wonder, you could probably put a pulling tool in here of some sort and push on that shaft. I don't have one though that would work with that. So I think we're gonna have to leave the wheels alone for now. So instead we'll just take off those 2 bolts for on each side. There's also another support for the transaxle right there. So we'll get that one off as well. Probably should have had those bolts sprayed down because they're all stuck as well. Try to keep this thing from moving. Oh, it's heavy. Heavier than the go-kart, I think. Okay. Spot's on the ground now. I think it's moving. Yeah, there's way more play on that collar in there. That spacer. You can see in here, there's all that play and there was not that play before. So she's coming. We're gonna get it. Even if I can just get one side, that'll make it a lot easier. Hang on. There we go. Alright, there we go. These rear tires actually hold air good. They're really hard. They're 4-ply tires with tubes in them. They're probably also a little hardened from the sun. Well, I bet you this side might come off easy as well. Hopefully. Well, now I can get in there a lot better. Oh yeah. I'll leave a little bit holding on this one, so we can see how it's gonna move before I just drop it out. So this one is just gonna be a lot more tricky because I have to just get in there by feel, or I just don't have nearly as much range of motion without the tire off. I think I'm gonna get one click each time out of this thing. Such an awful position. So the axle should be loose now, but it's not. Well, maybe it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, there it goes. Kind of settled down when it came out. So now we can put a board or two below it to catch it when it falls. Or if it falls. Oh boy. Okay. There goes that. We probably also need to take the belt off. Lock the clutch in here. So now the belt's loose and we can mess with that. Okay. All right, well, I gotta eat and go to work, but we will resume this when I get back in the evening. All right, so I was fiddling with it off camera, and I finally managed to get the shift linkage disconnected and the brake cable or whatever linkage disconnected. Just dropped out of there. So we'll see if we can't get it out. Oh, it is super heavy. Ah. Uh-oh. That shaft is covered in grease. Alright, let's clean this thing off first before we do anything else, because it's disastrously dirty. Oh no. No, no. All right, dirt's about to go everywhere. Okay. Now that we can actually begin to see what we're doing here and what we're working with. Alright, that's a pretty big pulley. That's a pretty big pulley. No wonder it goes so slow. Wait, it's Tecumseh. No way. It's a Tecumseh. I mean, I guess that, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. So that's the highest gear. Yeah, you can see it's rotating the output shaft, or I mean the one axle. So that should be first. Very slow. That should be neutral. Yep. And that should be reverse. Yep. Yeah, check this out. Tecumseh. Hang on. Oh, I cannot. That's not legible. There we go. It says Tecumseh Product Company. It even has the Indian logo on it. I guess that's kind of cool. So I really hope that this is a pretty universal shaft, so I can easily get a pulley for it, because if not, and it's like a specialized thing, then that could be a bit of a challenge. So it's held on by a snap ring. We'll get the snap ring pliers here. I kind of doubt this thing's just going to slide right off. That'd be nice, but I kind of doubt. Yes, it's a keyed shaft. That's good, because that means it's probably pretty generic. I thought it was some spline shaft or something, because that's what the other mower was. I can't even tell if these are two separate washers or if it's one piece. I think it's one piece. Maybe this whole thing is one piece. Have some wedges here that we can they're barely. Now we don't want to bend the shaft or the pulley, so we got to be careful here. Well, folks, I'll let you know if I get this thing off. Okay, so I did not get the pulley off, but I got the drain or the fill plug out, and it actually has gear oil in it. I expected it to be filled with like grease or something, but no, this thing has gear oil in it. It's a proper transmission pretty much. So we can, I don't know how full it is. Definitely not very full at all. Maybe if we tip it and then tip it, then dip it and see what happens then. A little bit around the top and that's it. I can't tell. Yeah, I'm looking in there. There's only a little bit at the bottom. There's not much oil in there. I got a bag of gear oil, so we can add some to it. I'm wondering though if there's like a drain plug on here. Maybe that's what those guys are? No, they're just bolts that hold this thing together. There's only two on the underside, all the rest are on the top side. Alright, well it's raining, so it's time to bring this inside. Alright. Some stuff's coming out. It's really thick. It's like honey. Oh dear, we just spilled it everywhere. Oh yeah. That gear oil smell. So we'll just put that right back in. Maybe, if I can get this thing blocked up. That hopefully ought to be high enough. I'm happy to see that it has gear oil in it and not just grease, because this dissipates heat better and it'll probably lubricate better at higher speed. So when we turn it up, it won't like start overheating a bunch, hopefully. Based on how heavy this thing is, I think it's safe to say it's probably built pretty heavy duty. All right, so we got a bag of 75/90. I think this is probably thinner than what was in there, because what was in there was great. Oh yeah, I just poured a little out. It's definitely thinner, but it won't hurt anything. Leave some in there because I bought this for my truck. But that should definitely help. At least hopefully. Where'd it go? In one end and out the other? Because I don't see anything. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's just so clear you can't see it. Right, because it's brand new. Wait, how do you get this drain plug back in? Or this fill plug? Dude, they made this way too large. Maybe if I put this like punch in here. All right. So I think I devised a plan to get this thing off. So I've had it soaking in PB Blaster overnight and also all today, and I just gave it a little bit more. But I built this. Whoops. So this will be a puller tool. So I just took this piece of metal, drilled 3 holes in it, and we should be able to drill some holes in this thing and press on that shaft and pull it right on off without having to use a torch or beat on it or anything, although I already hammered the poor thing, but I don't even have a torch, so this is probably going to be the best method I have of getting this off, and it should work pretty good. So that'll go on there like that, and then we need to figure out where these holes are going to need to go. All right, so we'll make sure this is fairly centered on here, and then we'll mark roughly in the center. Can't see anything on this rustiness. But that looks pretty good to me. All right, so we're gonna take and pound in some of these wedges, which will keep the pulley from moving while I'm drilling it. At least in theory. I was hoping that that would just get it off, but nope. Center punch. Get a little oil on there. Next thing we need to do is take one of these bolts and shape the end into a point so it won't walk around on the shaft. Get some water in there. All right. That looks pretty good to me. Make sure the nut still goes on. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Perfect. All right, time to see if this work was worth it. So I drilled my holes a little bit wide, but that's okay. I probably could have gotten way shorter bolts. I think I might need to put it the other way though. Yeah, dang it. So really that nut should be, ideally would be welded on there. So you don't have to have a wrench on there. It's coming, I think. Yes, dude. It's totally coming. I love it when a plan works. Wow. I really hope this is a 5/8 shaft, because I bought a pulley that is a 5/8 for a 5/8 shaft, and it's a 4-inch. This is, I think, an 8.5 or something like that. Yeah, this is an 8.5, and so we'll be putting on a 4-inch. And if that's not fast enough for me, then we can always swap it out for something else. Yes, it's a 5/8. Thank goodness this is standard. The other lawnmower we got that I was considering messing with, it has like a spline shaft. It's probably made in China as well, so it probably has some unusual metric size shaft. But this one's a good old American 5/8. So I'm just gonna clean up the shaft a little. Now, to avoid any rust problems in the future, we'll just be putting some grease on this shaft. That way, it won't rust up and seize onto the shaft anymore. Not quite fitting. I think we're fitting over the shaft, but it's hitting on this key. I think the key's too wide or something. So what we can do is just shave the key down a little bit. Well, I'll let you know when I have this off of here. All right, so I got the pulley on, And I might sit a little bit lower, but I think it's gonna work pretty good. And next, we need to pull the belt off because the belt's obviously too long. I calculated the circumference that we'll be losing, and it should be about 8 inches, 7 inches, and then add maybe an inch or two because the pulley, the actual distance will be less from the center as well as the pulley just being smaller in diameter. And so I dropped off this kind of like, I don't know if you call it a belly pan under here, but anyways, it was underneath the engine, held on by some bolts. And this thing is so nasty. It's caked in grease. I've not seen this level of like it's, I don't know if it's a combination of dirt and oil. Look at this. And grass and stuff. Look at this. It's like a 1/2 inch thick in spots. Ugh. It's red under there somewhere. That's so crazy. I'll see if we can't get this belt out from under here. This is like the longest V-belt ever. All right, so it's the next day, and you can see the axle is back in it, and that's because I got a belt for it, and it turned out to be the wrong size. But just to test it out, I tried the pulley that was on the blade, the belt for the blade, and that worked perfectly. I don't know if you'll be able to see anything up in there yet. You can see the belt in there. It's pretty much the perfect size, I think. So when I go to the hardware store next, I'll return that belt I got and buy another one of these that's the same exact size. So that's pretty cool. So I think we're ready for a test drive here, hopefully. Just take it down off these jack stands and stuff and see what it'll do. Why's the battery dead? Some connector popped off under there for like the blade safety switch or something. Should go now.
Okay, let's go. That's nice. It's gotta be like 15. Well, not 15. It might be like 13 or something. That's maybe 14 or 15. I'll have to get the speed up. I'll get the speed up. I'll get the speed up.
Yeah, that's way better. I think this is a good speed. That's first gear. Yeah, hold on. That's really good for cutting. That's not too bad.
Don't let it fall.
The belt's not the best, so I'm not.
Before you use all the gas, I want to drive it some.
So 9 miles an hour, so a lot slower than I thought, but it still feels pretty fast. So we could probably go a little faster and still be good. Not much faster though. All right, well that's where we're going to call it for this video. Now we are not done pulley swapping this thing because as you saw we were having some issues with the belt being too tight. I bought a belt that was just a tiny bit bigger and it ended up being too loose and it slipped a ton. So the clutch basically is not working correctly with that little pulley, that 4-inch pulley on the back. So what we're going to end up having to do is put a larger pulley on the back and also a larger pulley on the front to make the gear ratio higher overall without sacrificing by putting a tiny pulley on the transaxle. But we're going to do that in a later video because this video is already getting long. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you for watching and I will see you next time.